central headquarters for our Kazi project in Ghana. And what I mean by that is that they're similar in size. This is about roughly about a half acre, almost like 100 by 100 feet. And so not only the growing space, but we also want to incorporate a lot of different sustainable practices. So one that I can talk about right here is actually our solar system. So we have, if you step just outside here, we actually have 4 panels. Each one of these panels is 250 watts, and it ran in a string, which means, you could add all those watts together, so we got about 1,000 watts of power. On a day like today, with no clouds, no overcast, they probably generate very close to that 250. And so we've had some challenges. We had to, actually install some security measures just to prevent some theft and vandalism that occurred. Around 2012, we actually at the time had a cedar shed right here, and we had the panels up there and the batteries stored inside. And we experienced a lot of theft and vandalism. And so we kind of just did away. We downsized everything, got rid of some of our hoop houses and hot tunnels. They were really big in the shed, of course. And then just this year, partly because we got some additional funding, we decided to re-implement the solar component. But this time we were very mindful about securing it. So if somebody try to go for that one now, they're gonna be in for a shock. Pun intended. So.
So that's your battery storage up there?
Yeah. So we have basically our components, battery, charge controllers. We got 12-volt deep cycle batteries. I don't know the particular brand, but they're big, they're heavy. You know what I mean? So with the solar, you have to use the deep cycle batteries.
I know we went to one lady's house in Alabama, and they used old helicopter batteries.
Oh, okay. I think that could probably work. That makes sense. Those are definitely DC batteries. You know what I mean? So anytime you generating solar power, it comes in, of course, as DC, it's direct current, right? And then that's what the inverter does, is actually convert it to AC. So any kind of DC battery, in theory, could work. Definitely. So yeah, that's our solar component. We got a little bit more to do to complete the install, just because we had, before we actually secured it the way we did, we had a little theft again. Somebody ran off with one of our batteries, dropped one and busted it, and of course damaged some of the components in the process. So that's the reality of urban agriculture. You know what I mean? You kind of got to take that with it and deal with it best you can. Another thing I want us to pay attention to, which I'm sure everybody's familiar with, is our rainwater catchment system. So harvesting rainwater and utilizing that for irrigation of our crops is a very big component of what we do. Where we are, we technically don't have, I'd say, approved access to municipal water. We kind of work around it. Edit that right now. But yeah, so we capture as much rainwater as we can. As I mentioned, some things are a little bit out of place. This one actually had a small leak in it, so that'll be one of the projects that some of our participants of our Urban Green Jobs Share program will be working on next week, because that program is heavily focused this year around green infrastructure and stormwater management. So anything from rain capturing and rain gardens all falls into that. And we actually have a rain garden over there that I'll show y'all in a moment that we'll be using to irrigate our crops too. So the grant that we got from Park Pride was to not only rebuild all this infrastructure, but also to install a solar powered drip irrigation system. So that's how we were able to reinstall the solar, get ready to mount and wire the pump, and then lay the drip and the rest of the PVC. And so that'll be a project that we hope to complete by the end of October. Any questions so far? All right, cool. So yeah, basically that one's still set up, but I'm sure y'all familiar with rainwater catchments. So one thing we also have here is also a lot of perennials. So I say this is our main growing space out there, but it doesn't really show this half of the garden. But we have a lot of fruit trees, banana trees that we normally pop this and crop down and then take inside during the winter, just so the frost doesn't kill them. But pretty much all of our other fruit trees, some are in pots, some are in ground over here at our mini orchard. We have apples, plums, peaches, pears, figs. throughout the garden. So we actually have some going around the perimeter, and then a lot of herbs too. So a lot of the herbs are also perennials. So basically our perimeter area features a lot of our perennials, and then most of our annuals go in the main planting bed. We can actually run over here to what I call our waste management feature. So a big part of waste management, particularly in urban agriculture, is of course composting, right? Turning our waste into resources. All of this is fresh organic matter, you know what I mean? Most of it pulled up from the garden. Yeah, tomatillas, they grow wild here actually. You know what I mean? All over. Yeah. So you might even see some still in the beds. But yeah, some people, plant them, and then some, we can eat them growing wild. So obviously, this hasn't broken down yet. Normally what we do is, again, a combination of stuff pulled from the garden, and also a lot of people from the community come and bring their food scraps. And then what we do periodically is we just layer it with manure to really activate it and cook it down. Of course, I'm sure y'all familiar with compost. It's always recommended that like a 4 foot by 4 foot pile, just because that thermal mass actually helps facilitate that decomposition process. Of course, the other thing is aeration, right? So it's recommended to turn your compost or provide some kind of way to ventilate it. And then moisture and time is the other thing, you know what I mean? And really, nature does its work, you know what I mean? The fungi, the bacteria, and the insects, right? And then that proper balance of nitrogen and carbon, right? Your greens and your browns, your dry material and your more moist material. So, yeah, that's pretty much one of our composting processes. We have a few more that we do on the site that we'll mention as well. And then, of course, this is just a basic sifter, right? So we actually can remove these slats, right? So we can access it real easy. You can run a wheelbarrow up under here, right? And then shovel and then sift as needed. So, if you need like a more fine grade soil that we use for maybe seedling starts or something like that.
Do you like shake it? I said,
What
you shake it?
Yeah, so pretty much it's normally like some little blocks over here, so we just pile it up and then just use the blocks to move the soil through, and just slide it back and forth. And you know what I mean? It's better with two people. That way one person can push it this way, one person can push it back that way. You know what I mean?
Ooh, I hate to see one person do that.
It's
walk around.
Yeah, it's some work, but like I said, normally for that, like if it's going straight into the beds, it's good to have some of that organic matter that ain't all the way broken down, because it's spongy, it absorbs water, it's still breaking down, releasing nutrients. But so normally for like something like seedlings or something like that, where we need that finer soil, right? We don't normally need as much of it, so it's not super labor intensive. What else?
How often do you actually turn the compost?
So probably, honestly, to be honest, we don't really turn it that much. I know it's best practices to turn it like 6 weeks or so. But because we probably won't harvest this until next season, when we get ready to plant for the spring, we throw some manure on there. We don't really have to turn it, to be honest.
So you just let it sit.
Springtime. We just let it
down.
sit.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, if you're doing it for like commercial purposes, or you're trying to like mass produce, or have a quick turnaround time, then turning it, you know what I mean? But for us, it's so much, and then like I said, we're not gonna really harvest it until springtime anyway. We get ready to start planting for the spring. And by the time we layer it with some manure, we don't have to do much work. But we did intentionally, at least try to put some slats in here, some spacing, so at least some air can circulate, because that aeration really helps facilitate that composting process. While we're talking about composting, let's go this way real quick before we actually go into the garden. First we see flowers. We encourage the pollinators. We see some little volunteer plants as well, the Malabar spinach. Despite what it may look like, this is actually another composting technique that we use. Y'all familiar with the term hugel mounds, or the practice of hugel mounds, or hugel culture? So it's an indigenous practice and technique. It's being rebranded with a German term. Hugel is actually a German word that means hill, also hill culture or mound culture. But the idea is that really you can create a more self-sustaining planting area by the way you create it by mixing in different organic matter. So the process for this is basically it starts out as a entrenched area the size of whatever the mound you want it to be. So you kind of dig that out, you set that soil to the side to use it later, and then you start off with like not hard wood like that, but wood that's already kind of started breaking down a little bit. If anybody's ever seen that in nature in the woods, it's spongy, it's absorbent. So that's actually, we use that to our benefit, right? Because of that ability to absorb and retain moisture, it can actually slow release it as the plants need it. So we have that, and also as it continues to break down, it's releasing nutrients as well. So you put that first inside the little trench that you made. Then you layer that with less dense organic matter, so like stuff that you see in that compost bin over there, as well as your fruit scraps, veggie scraps, whatever, kitchen waste. And then you can add, some manure if you want, or that layer of soil that you actually dug out to kind of finish it off, and that creates you a nice mound. And like I say, it's real self-sustaining because it's self-fertilizing, because all that stuff breaks down. It's feeding the plants, and also it's self-irrigating because it's retaining moisture, and the plants can kind of draw it up as they need to. So these are actually the mounds right here. They settled a little bit. So a lot of times when people do hugel mounds, they kind of build them real big, and they just kind of leave them indefinitely, and they'll continue to build them up. We actually redo this cycle every year. So we'll actually harvest this soil as well as that soil, come springtime. And then we'll restart the mound process all over again, right? And then we'll harvest it again the next season. And so the benefit for us is that we're actually growing soil and food at the same time, right? Because once we finish the mound, we'll plant it, and there's still decomposition going on, so we're still composting, but we're actually growing food on top of our compost as well. And as it starts breaking down, you start getting some nice soil. It's been dry here, so it's not super moist right now, but it's breaking down pretty well, as you can see. This was actually a lot of melons that we had growing right here. And, of course, if we don't get them, the community will. So there's not really a lot of melons left now. You probably see some of the vines left. So it was a big one sitting like right there, like yesterday, day before yesterday. So that one just got going.
Does it make any difference what plants you put here? Are there particular plants that grow better in this type of
So
environment?
there are plants that really do well on mounds, like a lot of your cucurbits, like your squashes and your melons and stuff like things that like to run. But really, you can plant anything here. You can plant greens. I know people who build real big hugel mounds and they put fruit trees on them. You know what I mean? So that's one of the actual other benefits is that as it breaks down, so particularly like, say if I was gonna leave one indefinitely, like, and it's broken down, it's had a chance to decompose for like a full year, I've got a lot of planting depth for things for like perennials, right, that need that root depth. And yeah, but anything can pretty much go in there. You see, we got a lot of flowers. We got a lot of cosmos. We got some zinnias over there. So, but yeah, there are certain plants that love mounds.
What's the traditional term for this?
So the way it's been rebranded is hugel mounds.
Right. But you said something before that.
Some people call them native planting mounds or indigenous planting mounds. You know what I mean? And that's one thing we got to be mindful of, right? Is that these are practices that we've been doing in certain parts of the world for thousands of years, right? Where they get rebranded and repackaged and sold back to us, through a permaculture class. It's something that, we haven't been doing, you know what I mean? Yeah, it just makes a lot of sense for us. Like I say, we can harvest soil, we can grow soil, and we can maximize our space. Because you also, depending on how high or big your mound is, like I say, some are real big. You actually are increasing your vertical space, right? So even along the side of it, as it's sloping, all of that's planting space. So you maximize your space versus if it was just a flat bed. So one thing that we also do, we got some more perennials here, some asparagus. These are grapes right here that we also use as shading. We actually repurpose the fencing that used to surround this playground to build this trellis and put these grapes up. Yeah.
You think that's something we could do?
We've done the same thing over here with our blackberries and raspberries. However, this is an invasive tree, right? We didn't know what it was at first. it started out looking like sunflower almost, right? We let it grow, but it's some kind of invasive, right? And it's got, I'm assuming, a massive taproot that has pretty much drained the blackberries and raspberries. So you pretty much got to replant them for that nursery area.
Are you gonna eventually remove that tree? Or?
Yeah. That's so the urban green jobs trainees that'll be managing the site. That's one of their first projects is to take that down.
Cut it down layers and then
Trying to get that root out too, because that root it'll just keep coming back. Yeah, so
they're gonna love digging.
yeah, it's gonna be some work. You know what I mean?
They gonna love that one.
But this one thing I want to show y'all real quick, because this is actually another mound too, and this is just a perforated pipe to increase the air circulation and the aeration. So you can actually lay this within the mound, and then the airflow is called a windrow. The airflow actually aerate it and help it break down faster. So I don't know if you can actually tell, but this one is actually settled a little bit more than even that one. And I think it's just because the decomposition is happening a little bit faster. So you can actually run an experiment if you don't do one on all of it, and you can actually see that the more aeration it gets, the faster it will in fact break down.
It's called a windrow.
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 Yeah, any way you can aerate it, right? And so this keeps us from having to turn it, right? Because it's just air flowing naturally, right? And the idea is that it would actually come out on both ends. I don't know if this is still is or if it's just covered up. Headed back to the van? Okay, all right, cool. They follow, but I mean, y'all want to ride on the van or y'all want to keep following? It's
To do a tour?
yeah, to do.
Are we coming back here?
Is the van coming back here to drop them off? Yeah.
You'll be in the van talking about
Yeah,
things, so
Yeah, so
y'all might want to.
Yeah, it'll be better so we can hear what you're talking about. All right. So,
I'm gonna wrap this up real quick so we can kind of get to our.
one more question. This pipe right here.
Yeah.
What is it? I see it's leading to the tree.
Yeah. So what this was? So, our maintenance person. I don't do. I'm really not in charge of maintenance at this point. I still support and help out. But prior to the brother we have doing the maintenance now, it was a elder in the community who used to love coming out here, but he was kind of like one of those true blue, like I would say farmers, right? In the sense that he gonna use whatever he could find around in some kind of way. So it's not always the most aesthetically looking thing, but I think he was actually using this to kind of use as a
that's why I
border.
noticed. I was
Yeah,
like,
it's just a border.
Border or it's water or something?
Yeah. So you'll even see like inside the garden, you know, we use bamboo, we use pipes, sticks, whatever we can, and stakes and trellises and whatnot. So this is our little mini orchard right here. Bougie. We had a lot of plants dying. It's actually one of our pollinated areas. You see some lantana right there, the butterflies love that. But also you can have roses. We have different flowers. We normally plant what's called butterfly bushes. But we had a lot of trouble trying to keep the plants alive. Even some of these that you see right here don't look super healthy. But our new maintenance person just actually tested the soil. It came back real acidic. So we'll work to amend the soil, raise that pH level up, and then replant it. But we use this area primarily for our pollinators.
So would bees love these too?
Yeah. Any kind of bright, fragrant flowers in there are going to be well for the pollinators. Even like those zinnias over there, those cosmos, sunflowers. Like I said, the lantana is great. They love that lantana. Even the holy basil, a lot of herbs once they flower. You know what I mean?
We know that. We know
Man,
they love holy basil. We
yeah.
can't.
Yeah, if you go up to that holy basil right now, man, you see like 3-4 different species of bees, man. You know what I'm saying?
Like
Different
bumblebee,
types.
a honeybee, and maybe a smaller.
Yeah. So I love the holy basil. And one thing I love about the basil is that it volunteers so nice. I mean, once you plant it, you know what I mean, those seeds drop, man, you're gonna have holy basil every year after that, and it's gonna keep spreading. You know what I mean?
Can't control it. Might as well stop.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a good weed to have if you want to call it that. You know what I mean? So we have a little bamboo patch right here. This is more so just because we like to talk about bamboo and teach about it as a part of sustainability. because the variety, we have basically bunching bamboo and running bamboo. This is a bunch of variety. We just use this as an aesthetic and more so talk about bamboo, but it doesn't really get to the size where we can use it within the garden.
These are stakes, probably.
Yeah, you can probably use some of the smaller ones for stakes.
I feel like I'm standing with a plant. So soft.
So we could do a quick walk through the garden. As I say, this is kind of transition time between the fall and the summer. And then also, like I mentioned, we're getting ready to do the drip irrigation installation. So we intentionally have not planted a whole lot. It's been very dry and hot, kind of as we transitioning. So as it cools down and as we lay the drip, we'll intensify the planting. And we finish removing all of those.
When will you be doing that? And is that something that perhaps we could come over and observe?
Yeah, definitely. So we actually get ready to start on that starting next week. And pretty much be working on the solar powered drip irrigation system throughout the month of October. So definitely, take my contact information, and then if y'all want to coordinate, it's just a short ride from Birmingham. And if y'all want to observe or support in any kind of way, we'll be glad to have y'all do that. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, let's just walk through here. I'm not necessarily gonna give you a full tour of everything we got growing. Basically, we got a lot of peppers, mostly bell peppers, some hot peppers. We got eggplants, a few cherry tomatoes kind of stuff. We got peanuts. Yeah, these are peanuts right here. We didn't plant a whole bunch of them, but we had a few seeds, and so we're actually harvest these and dry them out and multiply. So we won't harvest them to eat them. We'll harvest them to save the seed, to multiply them and grow more next year.
Peanuts are legumes, they're not an actual nut.
Yeah, they are legumes. They're great. No, they're not ready yet, but yeah. They're great for fixating nitrogen into your soil. That's a big part of what George Washington Carver did. Everybody think of him as the peanut butter man, or he invented peanut butter, or they try to simplify what he did, but it's more than just, he grew peanuts. He used peanuts in a way to really build up the soil.
Everything, 100 different ways to use peanuts.
Yeah, easily. Yeah, easily. So we like to focus on those more traditional crops as well. Even the corn that we have, it's not the GMO corn or anything like that. It's the multicolored indigenous varieties of corn.
Do you have frogs and worms with the corn?
Fortunately, no. The biggest pest that we have here, I would say around fall and cool season, is the cabbage worms, aphids. During the warm season, it's the squash beetles. You know what I mean? We have problems with them. But we really have a problem with corn. I haven't seen any tomato worms in a while. Yeah, we really try to emphasize the health of our soil, right, as opposed to mitigate pests, right? It's a plant positive approach versus a pest negative approach, right? So we try to just create real healthy plants by having them grow in healthy soil, and that keeps their defenses up toward our pests and disease, right? Not to say it's foolproof, but that's our method, you know what I mean? So we really don't have to invest a lot on the back end in terms of pesticides, or even though we don't buy them, we kind of make our own. There's still energy and time that have to go through that. Where if you got a healthy plant from the onset, it's a lot easier to manage and manage. So our foundation, everything that we do is soil.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Have you noticed climate-wise anything different? And then with that, how has your planting or your approach changed?
Yeah, great question. So climate, by definition, is something that's kind of hard to gauge over the span of 5 or 10 years or something like that. But if I was just to look at that window of time alone, I would definitely say that it's getting hotter and it's staying warmer for longer periods of time. We know that can fluctuate, but me personally, I believe climate change is a real thing. I believe it's happening. I think it's a natural consequence of the carbon emissions and just the way we manage the earth. You know what I mean? And so that being said, definitely it's a gamble, but a lot of people, you know, they try to start their crops a little bit earlier because what happened was, and it's actually been a problem for a lot of growers, right? In that it seems like it's about to be springtime, people go out and start planting, or even if they don't plant, if they got perennials and your fruit trees and stuff start blooming, right? But so nature thinks it's springtime, right? But then a frost comes in, right? And if you kill those blooms, you're not gonna get fruits, right? So that's actually decimated a lot of the peach crops here in Georgia over the past couple of years. So for us, you know, I still try to be mindful in that I don't put all my eggs in one basket at one time. So even if I do want to attempt to start a little bit earlier, or you know, try to go something later into the season, I won't try to plant everything early, right? I'll plant a little bit and see how it does. That way, if a frost comes or something happens, then I'm not at a total loss. If it grows, then great. I got a bumper crop, you know what I mean? So that's one way I kind of think of it. Yeah, to me, it's definitely like right now. All these memories, it's still feeling kind of like something. At nighttime, it's starting to get a little cooler. But over the last few years, I've seen people have tomatoes, not even inside of like a high tunnel or hoop house, like into November. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's been the case prior to the last 5 or 10 years. Great question. So on our way to the van, and like I said, we'll come back here for a work. I don't know if y'all signed up for it, but definitely y'all are welcome to come to this space. Ongoing. Hopefully this won't be your last time back in Atlanta. So this area right here is what's known as a rain garden. So this actually was installed by the city of Atlanta. The idea with a rain garden is basically an area where rain can filter into the ground. So Atlanta is actually one of the Rockefeller 100 resilient cities. So we actually had an Office of Sustainability that even changed their name to the Office of Resiliency because of that. And so also because of that, they're putting a lot of investment into GI, or green infrastructure projects and initiatives, and as well as this includes stormwater management. So back in 2014, which actually I think was before we even became one of the 100 resilient cities, the city of Atlanta installed this rain garden. So if you look at this parking lot right here for Shelter and Arms Daycare, when it rains, prior to the installation of this rain garden, the water would just run off or go into the stormwater drain. But particularly in this part of Atlanta, we have what's combined sewage, right? Which basically means the stormwater drain and the sewage drains are combined, right? So when we get a heavy rain event, it overflows, right? So you actually have sewage spilling into the streets and stuff like that. So they've been putting a lot of investment around redeveloping that infrastructure, and as a part of that, they've been installing a lot more rain gardens. So basically, when it rains, the water runs. Some of it still goes into the storm drain, but a lot of it filters into this collection pool, and it's filtered by the plants in the soil. When with the rain gardens, the soil is basically mostly sand, and then maybe about 20% like topsoil, and then like 10% compost, and that helps filter all the chemicals and pollutants out of the runoff. It collects, it goes down, and we have a 3,000 gallon tank cistern up there, right? And so the idea is you can actually see. So this is how we're gonna do our solar power irrigation. We're gonna be able to pump water from here. We're gonna do a sub pump and drop it right in here and push water into the garden. But because of the solar power component and logistics, we actually gonna kind of pull the water in and then pump it back into the garden, which is not as efficient, but like I say, logistically it makes it a lot easier.
So you're gonna like take like a bucket, lower it in like a well, is what you're saying?
No, we actually gonna run a line, right? Mm-hmm. And then if you look right here, mm-hmm. right, the line, it was nice enough to, you see this slab right here is a little fresher than the other one. So this is just like basically like a corridor more or less for the line to run up under the slab. You can't see this, it comes out right here. This is the beginning of our PVC that broke. And so this is how we actually pull the water into the garden. Through that pipe. Through the PVC.
So
Right.
like a manual pump?
No, it's about I think it's a half horsepower or 1 horsepower like centrifugal pump. You gotta be pulling the water. Like I say, logistics because of the solar, we didn't want to have to run power lines way over here. So it actually pull the water into the garden or into the pump and then push it back out into the drip line.
Okay, it's like a suction kind of.
Basically.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's a part of the work that we'll be doing over the course of the next month as well.
Okay.
But I want to show y'all that on the way out. The van is right here. I do need to run and grab my book bag. Anybody else leave anything over here? All right, so we can load up and head to our next site.